Good morning, and welcome to the Monday morning edition of Fuck, I Need a Cocktail, new aspect ratio edition. Okay, so today we're going to make cocktails and talk about the news to celebrate Trump's 200th day in office. I know everyone's been counting. I know it might feel like a different amount of time, but this is the 200th day. And something to talk about for that, alarms, it's just great doing stuff live. Something to talk about for that is the new appointment to the head of FEMA. This did happen a couple weeks ago. Brock Long was approved by the Senate to be a new the director of FEMA. And it's good. He was appointed on June 20th, so we only went without a director of FEMA for about 5 months, and only about 20 days into hurricane season in New Orleans. New Orleans right now is having terrible flooding, so that's why we bring this up. It's hard times for them, but they're doing all right. There's no fatalities, and hopefully they're going to get the help from the federal government that they need and deserve. So to talk about the hard times for New Orleans right now, and to talk about the joy that we have to have a director of FEMA, a pretty important government agency, we're going to make the classic cocktail, the Hurricane. Classic New Orleans cocktail. So when you look up what a hurricane cocktail is, what you're going to kind of end up with is that it is essentially a rum and passion fruit drink. Now that's a very basic way. You'll get people that say that it calls for Jamaican rum, that it calls for Puerto Rican rum, that it calls for all kinds of different rums. Here's what you really want to do. Use rum with flavor, because you're going to put bold flavors in there. It calls for a little overproof rum. I don't have any that's not in storage right now. And overproof rum, frequently referred to as 151 proof rum, is a good reason to have temperature controlled storage because it's quite volatile. But if you're looking for a good overproof rum, I'd recommend Ed Hamilton's 151 or Lemon Heart 151, and I would not recommend others. Those are rums that actually have good flavor. I'm just using a blend of 3 very interesting rums, a Haitian style, one that's been aged in a sherry barrel, and then a really bold, crazy aged Martinique rum. You'll also see the addition of tropical fruit juices going into a hurricane. That's a bit random. What it really is just quite simply passion fruit syrup. And if you want passion fruit syrup, the easiest thing to do is live close to someone who makes passion fruit syrup, like I do. That's BG Reynolds. If you don't live close to BG Reynolds, live close to the internet. You can get it there too. So you're going to do passion fruit syrup, you're going to do a little bit of grenadine, also BG Reynolds. That's going to be a pomegranate syrup for those that are not familiar. And lemon juice to kind of thin it out. And that's how you're going to make a classic hurricane. Now, the hurricane goes into a hurricane glass. A hurricane glass is one that's shaped like a hurricane lamp. I don't happen to have a proper hurricane glass here, so I'm going to shake mine and throw it into a snifter. In New Orleans, you will most commonly not see this drink shaken. You'll just see it poured into a plastic cup. We're going to give that a little gentle shake, and we're going to throw that into this snifter here. And that's kind of what the hurricane looks like in general. That was so good. But we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to learn an extra technique today. And we're going to take the hurricane and we're going to blend it. This is my Vitamix blender. I've had it for 5 years, and I've used it every day for 5 years. So when you're going to blend a drink, you're going to want to make sure the ice is coming out of the top of the drink. That's how you know that you've used enough ice. Step number 1. Step number 2 is that ice is really going to take away from the sugar in the drink. So when I do a blended drink, I like to add just a touch more sugar to it. So we're going to do a little bit of passion fruit syrup. And that's passion fruit syrup, which is sweet. Passion fruit juice is almost as acidic as lime juice. So we're just going to top that up. Put the lid on it. Just don't want to start a blender without a lid on it. And we're going to fire that up. And right before I fire that up, I'd like to tell you about my special 200th day in office toast to Donald Trump. And we're back. So now that we have a blended hurricane, we're going to throw it back in that glass. It's going to be much more refreshing in this tropical weather. Yes. Oh God, look at that. Just right. All right. But now that we have a blended hurricane, you can't serve it to your guests like this because FEMA is getting a big cut. So don't serve them the hurricane. Serve them the hurricane minus 10%. And that's how a hurricane's made now. And this is what you get to keep for yourself because you don't want to use all the money that FEMA needs. All right. That's Fuck, I Need a Cocktail. And I do. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.